Hello, aspiring hunters. Welcome to the Hunter Experience. In Hunter x Hunter, the world of hunters is full of adventures, dangers, and challenges that require courage and determination. A true hunter knows that life is a journey full of risks and excitement. Safety, as many believe, is just an idea, something that doesn't exist in nature. This is especially true when we talk about the Dark Continent, a mysterious and frightening land where giant creatures, deadly diseases, and beings with powers beyond imagination wait for any daring adventure. Only 0.04% of those who venture there survive. It's like trying to cross the world's greatest nightmare, but in real life. Now, imagine discovering that someone has already been living on the Dark Continent for 300 years. That person is Don Freecss, an ancestor of Gon and Ging, who has been exploring this inhospitable place, facing all its dangers for centuries. Who is this mysterious man? What is the true level of his power? And how has he managed to survive for so long in such a dangerous place? Some even say that he could be the strongest character in the entire Hunter x Hunter universe. The story of Don Freecss is full of mysteries. He wrote a legendary book called Journey to the New World, which describes his experiences on the Dark Continent. This book is divided into two parts: the Eastern Edition, which is available to humans and is currently used by V6, an alliance of 6 nations, to plan expeditions to the Dark Continent, and the Western Edition, which no one has ever found. Ging believes that Don is still alive and writing this second part. This means that Don may have found a way to live more than 300 years, possibly using the power of Nen or discovering secrets of the Dark Continent itself. Additionally, there's something curious. The Hunter Association, the group that organizes the famous Hunter exams, was founded about 300 years ago, almost at the same time Don began his journey on the Dark Continent. Is it a coincidence? Or was the association created inspired by Don Freecss' adventures? Some believe it might have been formed to hunt Don or to continue his legacy of exploring the unknown. Don Freecss is a true legend. His survival on the Dark Continent for so long is already impressive. But what really stands out is the fact that he has probably faced some of the greatest threats in this world. For example, nitro rice, a special grain that can prolong the life of whoever consumes it, can only be found in dangerously hazardous swamps where the terrifying hellbell snakes live. These creatures are so dangerous that in the past, an entire expedition tried to harvest the rice, but of 10,000 people, only 11 managed to return alive. For Don to survive in those swamps and harvest the nitro rice, he would need to be incredibly powerful, stronger than thousands of hunters combined. In comparison, even the Chimera ants, which were considered B-level threats, would seem small next to the A-level creatures of the Dark Continent, such as the Hellbells. And Don apparently has faced and overcome these threats for centuries. This only reinforces the idea that he could be the most powerful character in the series. But how did he achieve such strength? Did he uncover secrets on the Dark Continent? Or is his Nen so advanced that it makes him unbeatable? In the end, Don Freecss is much more than an explorer. He is a symbol of the hunter spirit, always challenging the unknown and seeking the impossible. His story is deeply connected to the origins of the Hunter Association and humanity's desire to explore and understand the world around. Whether as a legendary writer, an unbelievable survivor, or an enigmatic figure, Don Freecss remains one of the greatest mysteries in Hunter x Hunter. Don's survival skills are astonishing, almost divine. When Netero traveled through the Dark Continent, he probably sought out a great adversary, someone his equal, but he ended up facing only the most wild and incomprehensible nature. He faced terrible diseases and creatures from the fauna and flora that were practically impossible to understand. He said that in that place, the greatest fight was not against other powerful beings, but against the cruel and relentless environment that demanded great endurance to survive. Don's motivations and what led him to go to the Dark Continent remain a mystery. One theory circulating is that the Freecss family may have some connection to this place as a powerful lineage. This makes us think of something similar to what happens in Yu Yu Hakusho, another series created by the same author as Hunter x Hunter, where the protagonist, Yusuke, discovers that he is descended from a very powerful being from the spiritual world. But of course, Don Freecss might simply be a human with a very strong hunter spirit. Someone who went to the Dark Continent because he was a great prodigy and went of his own volition, just like Netero became interested in the ruins of the human world and spent years trying to restore them. Don Freecss may have been fascinated by the origins of humanity and answers about the beginning of everything. Another idea is that he could be a descendant of beings who came from the Dark Continent, powerful beings who gave rise to the world of hunters. Perhaps Don returned to the Dark Continent, his original home, following a trail left by his own family, just like Ging did with Gon. He is a born explorer, and perhaps he was the one who began the era of hunters. It's even possible that he founded the Hunter Association itself. The only older references that appear in the history of Hunter x Hunter before Don Freecss are the founding of Meteor City, which happened 500 years ago by a dictator who wanted to separate humans, and the ruins that King explored, which provide clues that Don might be the first hunter of all. He had great knowledge, and it wouldn't be impossible to place him among the most powerful both in the human world and the feared Dark Continent. Perhaps he has a power level that places him in the S ranking of threats, the highest possible. The legend of Don Freecss is truly fascinating. To survive 300 years in such a dangerous place as the Dark Continent, harvesting nitro rice near the terrifying Hellbells, Don would need to be extremely strong. But it's also important to remember that, as Netero said, the most important thing is not just being strong, but knowing how to survive in such an unforgiving environment. Even so, after seeing Gon as an adult and what he did as a prodigy still a child, and considering that Ging is one of the greatest Nen users, we can imagine that Don Freecss, with 300 years of experience, would be a true legend, a monster of power and skill. Anyway, this is the story of Don Freecss, one of the most mysterious and powerful characters in Hunter x Hunter. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hunters, that was our video for today. Leave a like if you enjoyed our video, subscribe to the channel as it is still very new, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then.